Hello everyone, and welcome to this little catch-up for Deeper and Deeper, the Pathfinder 2e campaign that I've been running on Twitch TV /Nicoffin for the last 6 months or so. I just set up this little presentation along with chat. You can see them off to the left, them being cute. Say hello, chat. Say hello to YouTube. I'm doing this little presentation just so that, you know, if anyone who's thinking of joining or wants to have hasn't watched in a little bit, has a way to catch up really quickly without having to watch every single episode that's happened so far. If you want specific details of anything that has happened, then you are probably better off if you actually watch the episodes, but I know that they're quite long. There's like 20 episodes so far. Each one of them is 4 to 6 hours long, so, you know, they do kind of take a while. But that's where this comes in. I'm going to be trying and making these at the start of every little season so that you all can, you know, prepare and catch up on stuff that's happening. Even if you can't watch every single episode, I'll try and cover the major plot points and whatnot, and that way you can be all caught up. All right. So with that said, let's go on to the points. So first things first, we're going to talk about the setting of Deeper and Deeper, because that one's kind of important. You need to know that. We're going to talk about what Phobos is. If you have no idea what that word means, don't worry about it. You're going to learn soon. We're going to talk about the different corporations, and then we're going to talk about all the different major characters in the game. Afterwards, we're going to go more specifically into the story so far for each of the individual player characters. All right? Awesome. Let's begin. So, the setting is called Netting the Fear, but Fear itself, or just Fear itself. This campaign name itself is named Deeper and Deeper. This is set in the world of Gaia, which is entirely heavily referenced by Greek myth. All the names are Greek. A lot of the stories and plot points that I approach are based on Greek myth themselves, or rarely referenced by it, or make direct correlations to it. But instead of being in the classical times, this is set during a sort of alternate history, modern-ish era, where tech is around the 70s or 80s. However, the presence of magic and distortion and Phobos tech, which is something we're going to explain in a little bit, means that even though the technology is technically a little bit more antiquated, it's also way more advanced in other ways. So while they don't really have like mobile phones or really proper phones at all, they do have very advanced railguns that can shoot through walls and like blow holes in like entire buildings if given the chance to, or have teleporters, or etc. 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 This campaign is set in a Zeus-tech prison. Zeus-tech is one of the many companies that rule this sort of dystopian world. And more specifically, it's set inside a specific Phobos called the Abyss Elevator. So I just throw some real weird words at you. Let's cover them all individually now. What is a Phobos? A Phobos is a living creature that went through so much trauma or stress that's then distorted and transformed into a sort of monster. Human beings in this world are very much alike normal human beings, with the exception of the ability to turn into that. This is caused by the fact that everyone has access to magical powers if they have enough willpower to basically use their will to bend the reality around them. The downside of that power is that if you have a bit of a mental break, you distort and you become a Phobos, this horrible creature which is generally associated to a specific event that causes distort, a fear that you have, or a specific trauma that you've been harboring for a while. Sorry. Usually, Phobos will seek to complete a wish that their previous self had during the very moment that they broke. Sorry about that, my music was set incorrectly. My bad. They are functionally immortal. When a Phobos dies, I say with quotation marks, it turns into sort of an egg-like form and then comes back to life a short time later, but losing all memories that it had, both the memories of its current self as well as the memories of its previous life. If you were familiar with Project Moon games, you can probably tell that this is very similar to the distortions that happen in that. And yes, Project Moon stuff is also another very big inspiration for the setting if you were not aware of that yet. The world of Gaia is ruled by several corporations, which are generally referred to as the Olympus Corporation. Each one of them is based on one of the Greek gods from Greek myth. Specifically, the one that I mentioned beforehand is Zeustek, which is the one that this campaign is being set inside of. Each company has their own area of expertise, which defines the general type of phobos that they contain and that they harvest materials out of. So, Zeustek, for example, is usually responsible for electricity. So a lot of the phobos that they have to do with electricity or electrical powers or energy generation, and they harvest all that energy from them. Ares Tech, for example, has a lot to do with weapons and weapons production and whatnot, etc., 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 etc. The party recently learned that all of the corporations were recently worked on a multi-corporation, global project known as the Kronos Project, which the party has been finding out that all of them are connected to in one way or another. Here are some of the main characters that have been introduced to so far. We have the party. In order, we have Aloe, Hayden, Carly, and Darcel. These are our main party members, played by Sinful Shapeshifter, Discordant Diviner, Sweet Cheeks DVR, and Astral Ash Lyrae, respectively. All of them are prisoners in the Zeustek facility and were arrested and are placed in captivity here for different reasons, one or another. And they've all been finding out that their pasts are connected in some way or form, because one of the wonders of Greek myth is that there are no coincidences. Everything is predictated by fate, and everything is much more complicated than it might seem at first glance. We have a bunch of neutral characters, which include the other prisoners inside the facility, specifically Icarus and Daedalus. Though they are also prisoners along with the main party, they are not being sent into the elevators themselves. They are actually being allowed to be just support staff, and they have been responsible for providing the party with equipment outside of field help, like, hey, let me fix your armor, let me get you some new weapons, let me fix up your wounds, etc., etc., etc. The green hair lady is called Ariadne. She is the party's handler. She's the one responsible for making sure that they keep going deeper and deeper into the elevator and continue exploring and whatnot, and also making sure that they all stay alive. She can't directly see what they do down there, but she can talk to them and provide and receive information and provide general support. And yeah, she metaphorically gives them the golden thread. Yes, thank you, Pat. That's a pretty good way to go about it. Then we have Theseus. Yes, the very tired dude on the lower left side of Neutros is Theseus himself. He supposedly went down this elevator and was part of the original party that went down here and captured this Phobos to start with. But he hasn't really been seen because he never came out of there. Some of the party members are looking for this guy, and as they're going down the elevator, they'll be finding little tidbits of information that he has left behind, or he and the rest of his party has left behind, as they're trying to figure out what the hell happened to this guy. And then we have Pasiphae over to the right of him. She's the vice director of the facility, and she has been providing the party with magical items, as well as access to other kinds of potions and other spells and stuff like that. She's a very normal woman. Nothing at all is weird about her. At least that the party has found out. And then we get to the antagonists. The main antagonist so far has been Director Minos, the leader of the director of the facility that the party finds themselves in, and by extension, their warden. He is a big hulking man that is the director of the facility, and his duty is to make sure that the party is going down there and extracting as much valuable items as possible from within the elevator and turning a profit. And then there's the other antagonist, which I didn't have a proper picture for yet, which is the elevator itself. As a Phobos, that means that the elevator too is a once living creature that reached a breaking point and has distorted and has now tormented other people through the use of its powers. The party has found out that specifically the elevator is used to be a guy by the name of Herodotus. someone who one of the party members was very familiar with, and they have a bit of a history with, and they really want this thing dead. Ooh. The first party member we're going to be talking about is Aloe, played by Simple Shapeshifter. Aloe used to be a nightmare hunter Aethra. A nightmare hunter is a mercenary specialized in hunting Phobos. You can see her picture back there with a little bit of transparency. At some point, Aethra distorted and became Aloe for reasons so far unknown, though more details and more information about that has been uncovered as they have adventured their way down the elevator. Aloe herself has been wandering Gaia for the last 25 years, looking for more information on her past life. The one lead that she found was through Theseus, the one guy who supposedly worked under Aethra a long time ago, but she has so far not been able to directly extract information out of him. She has found some remnants of him and of things that he knew, but she hasn't been able to talk to him directly and figure out about what the hell happened to her old self. Right now, Aloes is a Phobos, but she is kept inside this robotic shell that resembles a more human form, and that allows her to have a better sense of self, which means that unlike other Phobos, she's not going feral or breaching or attacking people, because she's able to, through this robotic shell, have more of a sense of being as a person, and basically get to behave as a person as well, and just talk and be a normal-ish person. Alright? Yeah, she has her persona stabilized. Up next, we have Hayden, played by Discordant Diviner. Hayden is the son of director Lycon and Kylene from Arcadia. His position as the son of a director meant that he was expected to eventually take up his father's role and become the director of another facility of Arcadia, but some bad stuff went down and Arcadia was quarantined due to excessive mutagen usage. 1 second. Sorry. Basically they were trying to test how far mutagens could be taken for the sake of the Kronos project that was mentioned beforehand, and they ended up taking it a little bit too far, and all the mutagens caused all the inhabitants of Arcadia to go absolutely cuckoo crazy and start eating and killing each other. Hayden was not totally unscarred by this entire situation. He also had some wolf mutagens himself, which makes him functionally a werewolf, though a different kind of werewolf. He was trying to escape Arcadia and look for help, but sadly he was captured by Zeus Tech forces and imprisoned because they wanted to at least extract something of value out of Arcadia before they closed it up for good, and the one thing of value that they found was Hayden himself. He was captured a few years ago and only recently came out of containment to be sent into the elevator. Kylene keeps popping up. Kylene, his mother, however, keeps popping up in everyone else's memories too for some reason. Which resulted in some very funny interactions so far. It's been shown that Hayden's mother is probably very involved in everyone's background in some point or another. Up next, we have everyone's favorite socialist femboy, Carly Bismarck, played by Sweet Cheeks TVR, main guitarist for the rebel rock band known as The Wedged. Other members include artist Cyclops, Kylene, Oriad, Siren, and Marcius Satyr. His floor is up next, so if you're all caught up, you should know that we're going to explore his memories up next, so that'll be fun. He was captured by the Erymanthian unit while going to broadcast their song and manifesto at a pirate radio ran by a man named Sisyphus. Carly is very confused as to what the hell is his band member Kylene, or what was she doing back in Arcadia, and more specifically, how the hell can she be Hayden's mom and also basically look the same age as him and the other band members? What the hell is going on with that? Up next, Last but not least, we have Darcel, played by Astro Ash Lyre. Darcel has a patron, Phobos, by the name of Samuel, who becomes more and more dangerous to people the more they are aware of him. Maybe because of that is why Darcel is such a shady motherfucker and refuses to share anything about his past. That's why he doesn't have that many pictures in the background here, because much about his past is still unknown to the rest of the party. What is known about him, however, is that he has been a prisoner for a very, 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 very long time, but at some point he was known as a serial killer by the name of the Black Flame Shooter. I gotta sneeze. Sorry. His patron allows him to shoot a black flame bullet, which is one of the few things able to inflict through death. Through death is a condition which very few things or people can even deal with, which is also the only way to truly and permanently kill a Phobos. Which is part of the reason why Ariadne wants Darcel to go all the way down to the bottom of the elevator and kill the elevator forever. This is because, as the party has found out, one of the members of the team that was lost at the elevator forever was a man by the name of Asterius, who happened to be Ariadne's brother, and she really wants revenge. And last but not least, here's an extra little slide of side characters that chat forced me to talk about. We have the king of the kitchen, the one guard who knows how to cook in the entire facility, and that ended up getting recruited to become the party's chef. We have Caldwell, an animated cauldron that was a random drop that the party has made it into the party pet. And they named it Caldwell. He walks around and they put stuff inside of him and have him carry it around. One of the guards was sick with abyssium poison, which is basically a sort of radiation, sort of like poison. One of the guards had that poison him, and the party, for some reason, obsessed with healing and fixing this guy up. And they made a deal with Ariadne that in exchange for getting some information out of the elevator for her, she would pay for this guy's treatment. So he now has been healed of his abyssium poisoning, and he's probably going to get a name, maybe a picture, once the next season rolls around, because I feel like now I have to. Now guys invested so much into this guy. And then we have Undying Fury Rena, who was the one who was chasing Aloe while she was escaping captivity for all those 25 years. There is way more I could talk about her, but none of it is super relevant to the major plot, so I'm not going to go into it. Suffice to say, I'm just going to say that she is Aloe's biggest hater. And that's it. I hope that's been educational for you, and hey, if you'd like to know more, you're free to watch all the episodes. But with all the information that you've been given so far, you should be good enough to follow along and watch as we get started on Season 3 of Deeper and Deeper on October 3rd. I think that's it. Binge them now, do it, it's a lot. So I don't blame you if you don't want to do it, but hey, if you want to do it, it's all here in this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for listening, and yeah. I think that's it. Do I have anything else? Chat, did I forget anything? Chat, did I forget anything? I think I talked about everything. I'm treating chat as my, like, my community notes. But I think I got everything. So yeah, thank you so much, and I hope to see you on October 3rd for the first episode of Season 3 of Deeper and Deeper. That's it. Bye-bye!